Let's do this, gentlemen. As we know, the criticism was heard round the world when KD joined Golden State, but now the mission is accomplished. A chip. Not only did he win a ring, but he balled every step of the way and won Finals MVP. Stephen A., how do you view Kevin Durant now?
He's a champion. It's just that simple. I mean, listen, we can't hate on this man. This man is one of the greatest players in the world. And he's one of the greatest players in the world, and he showed it. This dude averaged plus 30, shot better than 55% from the field. It was one of the most efficient offensive performances we've ever seen from a superstar in this league on any level, particularly in NBA Finals history. But I think it's important that everybody recognize and remember the narrative and to stop trying to change it for their own liking. The issue was never about Kevin Durant and whether or not he was going to be a champion. The issue was that it was a foregone conclusion because of the decision that he made. This was not a marginal player. This was not an average player. This is one of the greatest players as far as I'm concerned, in the history of basketball. I think it's safe to say that already. At 6'11" with a 7'6" wingspan, with skills of a guard, with range to boot, this dude is the total package offensively. He's on that level. And because he was so great, when we look at Kevin Durant, we looked at the rest of the squad and said, damn it, it's unfair. What happened during the postseason, and the regular season, and the finals? We saw just how unfair it was. Nobody was capable of competing with them in the regular season. Nobody was capable of competing with them in the postseason. And damn sure nobody was capable of competing with them in the finals. This is an elite team with a guy in Steph Curry who was a reigning two-time league MVP, averaging nearly 29, 9, and 9. And we barely even talked about him because he didn't compare to the dude that just captured his first championship. He is the NBA Finals MVP, and a new era appears to be on the horizon, if not having already arrived, in that of Kevin Durant. It's that simple.
Well, your answer shows why Kevin Durant is wiser than you in this situation. Because Kevin Durant, very informed, intelligent crowd we have today. Excellent. Where do we get these people? Kevin Durant understood that, yes, Stephen A. Smith and others would say it's a weak move to join the team that just beat you, especially it was that close. That it was a weak move, that he looked over at LeBron, and so did Steph and others, and said, we can't get him by ourselves. Maybe if we formed the Super Friends team, you know, the Hall of Justice could get this dude, because one-on-one, it's too much. We knew that already. He knew that. He would be criticized for that. But he also knew that if he made that move, Stephen A. Smith would be up here 1 year later, and here we are, saying, can't take anything away from him, can't hate on him, one of the greatest players of all time, champion. And that was the criticism that I had of KD in the first place. Not that I wouldn't have done the same thing he did, or that it was a foolish thing for him to do. But in life, there are trade-offs. It doesn't always go all your way. You get something, you give something. So he recognized in order to win a championship, to guarantee that, he had to join the Warriors, or at least that was a guarantee he'd win one as close as you can come. He also realized that you don't really get full credit for being one of the best of all time unless you win the championship. So in a sense, he was going to reverse engineer his greatness. Guys, not that he's not a great player. You have to be an idiot not to know Kevin Durant is an all-time great player. But in terms of getting mentioned in that upper echelon of the position, of the wing players, obviously MJ, but LeBron, Bird, or even of the non-bigs, Magic, you have to win a championship, preferably championships. So KD said, aha, I will reverse engineer that, meaning I'll start from the end. I'll join that team, I'll win a championship, and then I'll get all that credit. And even though, Stephen A., you'll sit here and detail the journey and say, let's not forget the details, the headline is, for you today, Kevin Durant, champion. He understood this. He understood this in a way that was actually, this is excellent responses from the crowd today. He understood this in a way that actually showed the way LeBron understood it when he went to Miami. More maturity than you and I and the rest of the media really showed. He understood a better, he showed a better understanding of history than we showed.
I have to interject and respond to what you're saying because you're so wrong. And what I mean by that, and what I mean by that is this. See, you try to change the narrative. Not one single person questioned Kevin Durant's wisdom. Who the hell said anything about wisdom? Nobody's questioning that. We all, when he announced July 4th that he was coming to Golden State to play for the Warriors, when he put it in a Players Tribune, I believe it was in the 10 o'clock hour. By the 11 o'clock hour, the basketball world had conceded that we'd be sitting here today with him as a champion. So there was never a question about the wisdom in which he was exercising, because if you won a championship, why not join the damn Warriors, who had won a championship, who were in Game 7 last year and lost, who should have won in 5 if Draymond Green hadn't gotten suspended. And so we already knew. The problem was it was the predictability of the outcome, because greatness was being coupled with an extreme level of individual greatness on a part of Kevin Durant.
So you discount the accomplishment?
No. What I'm saying to you is that for us who love competition, we believed that it had been eradicated. We had been stripped of that reality. Hold on. And it's been proven. Because if you look at how he and the Golden State Warriors have steamrolled this, regardless of the ratings and everything else, you can't find anybody that's sitting there and going like this. Damn, I kind of expected it just to be a touch better than this. I mean, they just rolled over. Cleveland, in order to win one game.
What was your pick?
In order to win.
You didn't say 5 games.
And I also said,
if you 7 games.
I have Molly as a witness.
No, what he said is you all kind of thought it was going to be 5, but then he was like, out of respect for LeBron, I got
out of respect, and not only that,
and
wish.
I got it right.
Because
that's true. You did. I did say that. Kind of give you credit. You did say that.
I did say that.
You were kind of wishing it would go that way.
So all I'm saying is, think about the one game that they lost in these entire playoffs. 49 points in the first quarter.
Yep.
86 points in a half.
Yeah, it was a record.
13 three-pointers in the first half. 24 three-pointers total. All NBA Finals records. That's what it took for one game to be captured again.
Absolutely, but you can't have it both ways. In other words, if it's a wise decision and also a weak one, okay, I suppose you can describe it that way. It's wise, but maybe not as competitive as you'd like. But then you're going to necessarily discount his accomplishment, because you're saying, look, and it's true. There's no way around it. I'm going to remember this. I don't know how many others will. Kevin Durant's one of the best players I've ever seen. I'm not saying anything about that. That's obvious. But if you join a 73-win team that most feel should have won the championship last year, but at any rate came a possession away at home in Game 7 from winning it, and you add one of the best players you've ever seen to that team, you already know the outcome. And if you already know the outcome, then how much credit are you going to give him from winning a championship? The reason we think championships are significant is because it demonstrates that you are the best in the world, and in the crucible of competition, you can lead a group of guys past that guy. But if your supporting cast has already won a chip, what does that mean about you?
It could be Columbia that you graduated from, MIT, Harvard, or whatever.
It was Columbia.
I know it's Columbia. I'm saying you can intellectualize the situation all you want to. I'm going to simplify it for you. I have an issue. And it doesn't matter how great Kevin Durant is, and God, he is great. It does not matter the champion that he is, and Lord knows he's a champion, and Lord knows he deserves the NBA Finals MVP. And I have religiously recognized him as the second best player on the planet. Let me be clear. There is nothing, not even the marvelous, wonderful, lovely Wanda Durant, who will ever change my mind on this one reality. You went to the team who beat you 48 minutes away from the finals. It's my opinion, I don't like it, because I knew it dramatically shifted the balance of power, and I didn't like it. That's how I feel.
You know this better than anyone as a fantastic reporter and columnist for a tabloid. Tabloid, by the way, guys, doesn't mean it's sensational. It means the font is big on the newspaper, right? And in Philadelphia, you were excellent for the Philadelphia Inquirer, covering the Philadelphia sports scene for a number of years. So you know this better than most. All the details will get lost. What will be remembered is the headline. And what's Stephen A. Smith's headline today? Kevin Durant, champion. That's why he made the move.
And Max, to your point, Stephen A. won't remember it that way, but I thought of it the same way, and I said this is a weak move when it initially happened. So I'm the fans you're speaking of that go back to. No, I'm not saying you're not happy for him, but I'm saying I was like the typical fan you're saying that was kind of over the move.
Listen, his own mama came on this show. She thought I was a bit too harsh. I don't blame her for that. That's his mom. And I'm saying, she said I said he was weak. I never said he was weak. Kevin Durant's a good dude, good brother. I said the move was weak. Why? Because he is a superstar. And when you are a superstar, I don't believe in the throes of competition, that is a move you make. But I'm sitting here today, he's a champion, but it was zip it. Here's the deal. July 4th.
Yes.
I sat up there and I said, quote, he's going to be
I want to pin
champion.
this one thing down real
And
quick,
then
Molly,
let's
if you
move
don't
on.
mind.
Yeah.
Had he been traded to the Warriors figured out a way to lose Bogut and Barnes and whatever else and pay some money, and somehow landed Kevin Durant the way the Sixers once upon a time landed Moses Malone to get them over the Lakers, then you'd be fine with it, right? It's the fact that he made the decision to move that you found a weak move.
Because he had the freedom to do whatever he wanted to do, and it was his right to do whatever he wanted to do.
But the result is the same. He joined a super team and won.
But in the
Whether
end,
the GM traded for him or he made the decision.
But you're in the Western Conference Finals, and you leave to join the team that a month later that beat you. I'm sorry.
And now,
I'm sorry. That's how I feel about it.
But he is a champion. He is the Finals MVP, 4 scoring titles, 1 chip. The only other players with that, MJ and Wilt.